Hello and welcome to my Ever Messy Art Studio. My name is Keeks and today we are going to be playing with my big gel plate. I did just try to warm up the plate a little bit. I actually tried to do an image transfer and it didn't go very well. But I think my plate is warmed up now so we can actually play, and I have a ton of different stencils. So as you can see, I have an entire drawer full of stencils that we can play with. And I thought it would be really fun just to kind of experiment and flop around and see what we can do. So one of the first ones I want to do is from Stencil Girl, and it's this one right here. I really like all the mark making looks of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it down on my plate. I'm just going to press it down here like that. Because what I'm going to do is make it to where it's going to show a clear image on it. And we should be able to get some really interesting things out of it. So let's go ahead and get some paint for it. And I'm also going to get a rub-off sheet. So what a rub-off sheet is anytime, like for right now, this has black on it because obviously I tried to do an image transfer. So you can just rub it off on the sheet and then use this as collage fodder, which is really cool. So let's start out with a bright color. Let's do turquoise, this red, and maybe some yellow would be good together. I do love this combination of colors together. So hopefully this will turn out really cool. And so I think I'm gonna go ahead and lay down the yellow first. So I'm just gonna squeeze out some yellow. Hopefully there's some left in here. Oh, that one seems like it's almost empty. Let me find a different yellow. I've got this neon yellow that might be interesting. So let's try that out because I haven't used this one at all. I'm just gonna squeeze out a bunch of it. And then I'm gonna take my brayer and rub it all everywhere. This paint's kind of stinky because I haven't used it. Go, getting it a little bit of everywhere. It is turning green a little bit because I think there's probably still a little bit of black on it, but that's okay. So we've got that. I'm just gonna add a little bit more yellow to it just to see if we can kind of get some of the color to return. But if not, I'm not gonna be super worried about it. So I'm just gonna rub it in there. Rub, 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 rub. Just like that. And we have to kind of work backwards. So what I mean by that is the colors are gonna be, they're gonna be on here, but you have to work thinking about what the front is gonna be. So I'm gonna use those mark making tools there, but then I'm gonna put another stencil on top of it and kind of layer with it and just have some fun. So if we have the mark making ones, maybe something like circles would look fun on it. Or maybe we could try flowers, we could try really anything. So I'm gonna look in my stencils here, and I think I'm gonna go with something, I could do something similar. Like I've got these littler mark making, so maybe I can just go over it with some circles and then pull it up real quick. Do more circles over here, pull it up, circles over here, that kind of thing. This is from the Tim Holtz collection. So let's just go ahead and go over top of it. I'm gonna put a little bit of blue down next, I think. And see what happens when we do that. So I've got a little bit of blue there. I'm just gonna brayer it. got that, and then I'm gonna pop it up. It looks like I used a little bit too much paint, but that's okay. I'm gonna do it again over here. We're just gonna make a big old mess until we think we're ready to pull it with some paper. And this is gonna be great to make collage fodder with. So that's what I was kind of thinking about doing with it. And I like that these are like a full paper size because my other ones are quite small. My other jelly plates. So, and I haven't played with my jelly plates in a long time. So I thought this would be just a fun little thing to try. So I'm gonna put another one here. Just use a bit of paint. And pull it up. And then lastly, I'm gonna go here. A little bit more paint. Whoa, that's too much paint, but that's okay. And go here. Maybe we can do a little bit of paint in the middle here. See what that gives us in the middle. Like that. And then I'm gonna wait a little bit and I'm gonna let it dry before I put my next layer on. So while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna brayer off again, because I have quite a bit of paint. And then I am really bad about not cleaning my stencils, so this stencil I'm just gonna put on top of a piece of paper. I'm gonna let it dry like that. And it should be perfectly fine. So let me keep brayering off here. And then what I could also do is I could take a piece of paper and kind of soak up some of this because I don't think it's going to take all the paint, but I could soak up some of the paint before it dries because we do have big clumps there. So let's just put down a piece of paper, and it's not going to be what we're looking for just yet, but it'll at least soak up some of this paint because I think I got way too much on there. But you know, as you're learning, because I don't think there's really a wrong way to use these. You can just do whatever you want, because I mean, this is going to be a cool piece of paper anyway. Look at that. So like this could be excellent in a collage. And now that can dry, but this is going to dry a lot better now that we've soaked that up. So I'm just going to set down my piece of paper on the ground somewhere and let it dry. And we're going to let this dry and we'll come back. Okay, so I think this is mostly dry now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put red down and roll that everywhere. So I've taken off my stencil. This is what's left, and you can see like all the O's and stuff, and it looks really cool. So I'm gonna take red and pour it on here. And then I'm just going to go over everything. To make a pattern. There was a little bit of blue. It looks like that wasn't quite dry all the way, but it looks like some of it was dry, so this should still look pretty cool. And then, ooh, that looks neat. I'm gonna rub off. Get that mostly done. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a test pull and see what that looks like. We're just making collage fodder, so even if it doesn't look quite cool, like we could still use it for something. So I'm just gonna push it down. And I nice and smooth. And then I'm gonna let it dry. Really excited to see what all we get off of these, because I want to use some of them in my magazine journals. I haven't played in my magazine journals for a while, so I would really like to do something in them. Now, if you're ever curious about what it's gonna look like, you can flip these over and we can see that there's all kinds of patterns in there. So if you're ever curious about what something might look like before you pull it, you can definitely do that. So I've got it pushed down. And I'm just using typing paper. I'm not using mixed media paper or anything like that. I'm gonna pull it up. Ooh. Okay, that looks really cool. So we didn't end up with the pattern that we had before because it looks like the patterns are still stuck down there, but we did end up with really cool splotchy paper that I really like and I could definitely use in collage. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna set it down and maybe we can use something else with this. So maybe let's try, some of my favorite ones are these flowers. I'm gonna stick those down. I'm just gonna keep adding colors to it. Like I said, I'm not super picky on these. So I'm gonna use this purple. And I'm gonna keep running with my experiment.
Very pretty.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Very arts and crafts of you.
Thank you. This is a gel plate.
Oh, very jelly.
Uh-huh. Keep doing that, and then maybe I want a second color under there because this is more of a translucent paint, it looks like. So I could definitely do something else under it. Maybe we could go with a blue. That might look interesting.
Science.
Right? You don't want it to look like mud necessarily, but you want to have a bit of fun with it. And I have a bunch of acrylic paint that I need to use because it's gonna go bad if I don't.
Peanut butter paint time.
It's my husband Mason. He just walked in to see what I'm doing.
I have enough friends.
Here we go. So I think that's gonna look pretty cool.
Goodbye, your enough friends. Love you, Nina.
Bye, good night. So I've got that in there. And then I'm gonna brayer off again. And set this to the side. And I'm gonna lift this up. Now we've got some really cool flowers going on here. So I've got that. Look at how pretty it made my stencil. So I've got that. And then what we can do is let's go ahead and put paper on that because I think that one's gonna look really, really cool. I'm gonna put the paper sideways this time because we also got this little bit of flower here on the side. So I'm gonna go like that and rubber down. And if you're someone who doesn't like to get your hands dirty, one thing that you can always do is you can wear gloves when you do this process. Not as fun, but you can. It won't hurt anything at all. We're just gonna rub it in really good. and then give it a minute to dry. And something we can do while we let it dry is we can kind of look at these edge pieces, and I can take an extra piece of paper and just kind of pick up those edges a little bit if I wanted to. And with a quick pickup like that, it'll pick up a good lot of it. So stuff like this can be used as borders. Use it for all kinds of things. So I'm just picking up some of this excess paint. There we go. Now we got this really pretty glittery stuff going on. And I like chopping those into little tiny pieces, and sometimes you can use them as like miniature paintings if you wanted to. So just an idea. And now that this is soaked quite a bit, I'm gonna pull it up. Ooh, this is gonna be cool. Oh, I love this already. Look at how pretty that is. So that's gonna be gorgeous to use. That turned out really cool, and you even got this little plant over here. So that turned out really nice, and we still have this kind of scruffy look to it. I kind of like that when that happens. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and continue. And I'm gonna choose a different stencil this time. Ooh, or maybe we can go over it with regular paint real quick and just kind of pick up some of this. Maybe we could do white paint and see what happens if we try to pick up what's left of that. So I've got some white, titanium white here. I'm just gonna splooch it on there. And take my brayer and just rub it on this section here where there's still a bunch of flowers. Just like that. And then I'm gonna put a piece of paper down again and see if we can try to capture some of that yummy crinkly stuff that's in there. Because if we can, that might look really cool. Okay. Then I'm gonna let that sit a minute. Once again, if I wanted to, I could pick up some of the edges. So like if I wanted this edge right here, I can just go like this. It seems like it's pretty thick, so it's not coming up all the way. Sit for a moment, and you'll see it'll soak through the paper a little bit, but it's not gonna like come to the other side or anything like that, so it should be okay. Not quite dry enough yet, so I'm just gonna kind of put my warm hands on it. I've been advised against using a heat gun on my jelly plate because you can melt them. So do not do that. Here we go. I'm gonna pull up some of it. Yeah, it looks like I had too much white on it. So this one kind of is a fail. It didn't really do much. So I was hoping for a little bit more. So I'm gonna throw that one away. I don't think I'm gonna reuse that one. But I can put another piece of paper down and see what happens if we try to grab it again. And it is entirely possible I may not be waiting long enough for this just because I'm recording. But I'm just experimenting. I want the collage fodder. This might have been cool to do on black paper with this white paint too. But I was trying to see if we could get those colorful bits to come up. So I'm just smoothing it down. Okay, this time it's pulling the color. A little bit of it anyway. So what must have happened is I must have had too much paint on it at the beginning. Because look at this. Now that is interesting. So even though I have big gaps in here, I still have enough interesting to go. I'm gonna leave the white crusty stuff on there. And then we can use another stencil to pull again. So let's see about got some webs. We can try that. That might look good with the white sticking in there. So I'm gonna pop that down. And then let's do, I kind of liked the look of it with the translucent. So I'm gonna put some of this translucent paint down. This is like a copper. I'm gonna brayer that. Just like that. Oops. There we go. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it up. Like that. Now we have some yummy looking spider webs. And then once this dries a minute, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a darker color underneath it. So maybe we could do, so we're going with that. We could, do we want to make it Halloween-y or do we want to put blue under there? I have this like light blue that might be interesting. This blue right here. Doesn't feel like there's very much left in it though. But we could try to pull that up with the copper and see what happens. But I'm gonna let this dry a little bit first. So I'm gonna wave my hands on it and be like, dry, dry. Blow on it a bit. But give me a moment and we'll wait for it to dry because I don't want to lose the spider webs like I lost the pattern of the last one. So I want it to be yummy and nice. Okay, so it's still a little tacky, but I think it's mostly dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this light blue and glop it on there. See if we can get a little bit of it out. Because I think that might look kind of cool with the bronze. And this will probably be the last of this blue. So I'm gonna throw that blue away. And then, let's see. I don't have any other light blues that are quite like that. But I do have a little bit of this like regular blue. So maybe I'll do that and see what happens. Give it a little bit of differentiates here. And I'm just gonna lightly go over it. Like that. Bring her off a bit. And now I'm gonna put a piece of paper down. Like that, and rub it in. Push down hard on it because I'm hoping to get those spider webs to come up with it. And then I'm going to gently pull it up and see what we ended up with. Ooh, this is gonna look cool. So it did give me quite a bit here. There we go. So now we got these really cool blue and bronze spider webs. So I like that. I'll put that with my fodder. And see what else we got in here. This time what I might do is I might put a full color on and then put the stencil on top and see what that does. Because the first time last time I did this, I did it over the stencil. So this time I'm going to put a color under it. So I'm gonna try this green. And like I said, I'm trying to use up some of these because I've had them forever and I need to get more acrylic paints anyway. So I'm totally fine with using as much as we can here. There we go. So that one's done. Because a lot of these are over a year old. And while I know acrylic paint's not really gonna go bad that quick, I mean, some of it just has little bits in there. So I just don't see a reason to keep little bits when it's taking up room. You know what I mean? Oops. So I've got this kind of iridescent green down, and then I'm gonna put this guy on top of it, like that. I'm gonna let it soak in there. Bring her off again. I'm gonna push it down a little bit. Now I need to think of what color is going to go well with this iridescent green color. So maybe we can do some gold too. Wow, didn't mean for it to spray out like that. But we've got some gold now. And I'm just going to rub it over the stencil. think I need a new brayer. This brayer has never rolled well since I've gotten it. This is just a cheapy Amazon brayer. At some point I'll get a new one. This brayer is not as cool as some of the ones I see people use because it doesn't really roll. There we go. I've got the gold in there. Roll that off of my brayer page. And then let's have a bold color underneath it. Let's do maybe this red would be cool. Just to give it something that's a little bit more opaque. It's gonna mix into that gold and create a cool color. And then I'm gonna let it dry, and what I think I wanna do is double stencil this one because we've got so many different lines on this, but lots of like kind of open spaces. So I think we can definitely do something with that. And I don't think it would hurt to try. So let's do, while this is drying, we're gonna let it think for a second. And we need something that's got more going on with it. Let's try. I'm looking through my stencils real quick to see if we can find one that has a little bit more of a wilder style to it. Ooh, this one looks cool. Let's do this one. This is gonna look interesting underneath here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set it down. And I'm gonna let this dry a minute and then come back. Okay, so I've let it dry for a couple minutes, and I think I'm gonna go crazy bold and do black, because then it's not gonna have a choice but to let those colors be kind of crazy. And I'm feeling a little crazy right now. So I'm just gonna kind of rub this in like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna brayer that off. Pick up my stencils. And we're not gonna really see the honeycomb a lot. The idea is we're just gonna have like a lot of interesting patterns here. So I'm just gonna pick those bad boys up like that. And then I am going to put a paper on top of it and try to pick it up. So I'm just gonna push it down. Like that. Make sure we get it all pushed down. So some artists that I would definitely follow is Carrie the Crafter, C-E-R-I, the Crafter. He is excellent at jelly plates. And then, like I said, Yolande, which is Devin Rexfarts. She does amazing stuff with pulls, and she does like image transfers and stuff, which I need more practice with it, because like I said earlier, I tried to do one and it didn't go well. I tried to do a chicken one. So I need to figure out if I'm using the right kind of paper, like the right kind of ink stuff for it. But yeah, they are both fabulous people to watch. Ooh, this is gonna look cool. And we've still got more yummy stuff on there. So this is what this pull looks like. So it's very interesting. And yeah, I like that a lot. Very abstract. And then we've still got more stuff down there. So what I'm gonna do is do I want to add more black underneath that, or should I add a color? Let's see what we got color-wise. We've got pink. Pink might be interesting. I really kind of want to, let's see. Trying to see what colors I have in my paint pile here. This color might be pretty. This is called turquoise green. So I'm just gonna squirt some on there. And I'm just gonna move it everywhere that I see pigment at. It's kind of a translucent green. I wasn't really expecting that, but that's okay. And we're gonna try to pick this up again and see what we get, because it seems to me that there's still some yummy hiding in there. So let's take this. Just rub it down. To get in all the little grooves in the paper. Ooh, that's interesting. Look at that. It almost made like a cheetah print with it. So that'll be very interesting for collage. I love that. And some of these papers you can even stamp on top of. Do all kinds of stuff with it. Now, speaking of stamping, what we could do is put some paint down, and we could use stamps on top of it, so that's definitely always an option. Like I have this love stamp that I made. We can try doing that and just do like a thin layer on top of this. So let's do this purple. I'm gonna squirt some of that on here. Get it going. I've got a thin layer of purple. And then I'm going to take my eraser stamp. And I'm just going to stamp love everywhere. this is one of the eraser stamps that I made. Being careful to push hard so that way you can read what it says on it. So I've got that on there, and I can just clean off my eraser later. And then what I could do is I could take one of these, and if I wanted to, I could do some squiggles in here. Could be fun. Just do some little squiggles in between. Give it a couple minutes to dry before we add another color to it. And I think the color that I'm going to add to it is going to be this pink. So I think this pink will look really cool, and maybe we can mix pink and red. So I've got that pink, I've got this red, so we can always do like a couple doots of each and just let it get mixy. But you know, this is going to be a pattern that's homemade, so that's kind of exciting. You know, you can even do little fingerprints on it if you wanted to. See, it's actually coming up on my fingerprints, so they can be dots. So maybe where those lines intersect, we can give it a bit of personal touch here. Like that. And it's just acrylic paint, it'll wash right off, I promise. So then we can go ahead and add the pink, and I'm gonna put a couple doots there, like that, and maybe a little bit of red. I'm gonna put as much red, so I don't want it to totally take over it, like that. Couple little doots, and I'm gently gonna rub it around. This is probably gonna look a little Valentine's Day, but that's okay. It'll be cute. That's all we really want. We just want something that looks nice. My brayer has stopped rolling again. That's rude, I tell you, rude. Okay. We've got those in there, and I'm going to take a piece of paper and the paper did not quite go where I wanted it to go, so this is just going to be a quick pull because it didn't really go where I wanted it to. So I got this, but there's still paint there, so I'm not really ready for it yet. So what I'm going to do, this paper and smush it down. Like that. Good in there. Rub it everywhere. Oops, I'm moving my thing around. There we go. And this is just coming off my hand. I'm gonna see what happens here. Oh yeah, that's gonna look really good. There we go. And now it's got all this love marks on it. So this is love. And of course they are backwards just because, you know, when you're doing this, you have to think of it backwards. The actual stamp itself does go right ways, like the right way. But yeah. This looks really cute though. So that's a good one. And then I think that is enough. And what I can do is now try to pull up some of this extra stuff on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a little bit of paint and brayer it on top of these little areas. And then I'm going to take a piece of paper and pull it up. There. There. And some down here. And we've got a little bit up here too. So we're just going to try to pull up the remainder of what's on here using the wet paint. And then if it still doesn't come off, you can use baby oil. And that's not a big dealio. So I'm gonna put 2 pieces of paper down this time. Put one here. And I'm gonna put the other one over here. And we're just gonna try and get some of that to come up. Still leaving some behind, but it's definitely a lot cleaner than it was before. So now we've got this red with this pretty stripe down the middle. This one will be good for stamping on in a bit, because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna decorate them with stamps, I think. Pull this one up. Like that. Got some more interesting color combinations there. Okay. So now oops. You're gonna be careful. If you accidentally set one of these on top of a piece of paper, you're gonna end up with paper stuck to it. So I did that, and it stuck. So be a little careful, because you don't want to ruin your stencils, which your stencils probably aren't going to be ruined, because most of them are going to be, you know, made of that plasticky stuff. But you still want to be a little careful. Otherwise you might end up doing some stuff that you don't really want to do. So give me a moment to clean this up, and then we'll take a look at what we've got and start stamping, because I think that will be fun to stamp on top of some of these. Okay, so I thought before we get stamping that we could kind of look and see what we've got here. And we have quite a collection, if I may say so myself. We've got this guy here, which I don't think I'm going to stamp on top of. He's still wet. But I do definitely like this. I am going to cut it up for collage fodder once it dries. So we've got that one. We've got this one, which I think is going to be excellent for stamping because it doesn't really have a pattern on it. So definitely going to do that one. This could be interesting for stamping, or we could just cut out the little bits itself. So I'm going to set that one to the side as a maybe. This one I think could do with some stamping because it doesn't have enough color on it. This one will be good for stamping. Same with this one. This one here, I kind of like it the way it is, honestly. I think this could be fun as part of a background or something. So I'm not actually going to stamp on this one. This one I'm not going to stamp on either because I like it the way it is. This one is just going to be cut up. What I do is I just cut the edges, and then sometimes you just need a little edge for something. So that one's going to stay the way it is. This one I also like the way it is already. I don't think it needs to be stamped on. This one can be stamped on though. I think that would be pretty stamped on. This one I think we can do too, just to give it something interesting. This one can be stamped on, and this one can be stamped on. So we have quite a few of them that are great contenders for stamps. And what I've done is next to me I have a big giant bucket of stamps, and I'm just gonna go through and have a little bit of fun stamperooning. Now some of the ones that really stood out to me is this one, and I think the one that was above it. These I want to have some Asian stamps on, I think that would be really pretty. So I'm just going to set those out and get my little Asian stamps. Which, these are some stamps that I found at a thrift store that I really liked. I don't know why, but these are just screaming, put us on there. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna use my black stamp pad, that way we can really see what's going on. It looks like these have never been used before, so that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and get my black stamp pad, which is right here. Now let's see what these little stamps look like. I'm gonna push them down pretty hard and flip them over to see what they've got going on. I'm gonna put these guys up here. I'll hold it for a second. Aw, they're so cute. Little boy and a girl. Maybe I'll stamp that again. Oops. So I'm just gonna rough up my stamp a little bit, make sure it gets all gooey. And maybe we'll put another boy and girl down here. And then pull them up, and there they are. So that's that stamp. And we've got this cute fishy stamp. So that could be cute. And I'm gonna put one fish underneath them. Oh, that's very cute. Let's get one over here too. Like that. And then we've got this origami crane. Stamp it right here. So the idea is just stamp it at random, and you can use this as collage fodder. Go ahead and take them out of this kind of yellowed box because I don't feel like that box does them very much justice. Here's these guys. These are like little lanterns. This would be great for like a Japanese themed journal or something like that. Okay, I think that's good. Ooh, this one's almost broke. That's probably why it got donated. These look kind of homemade in a weird way. So that one didn't work out as well, but it's okay, we can try again. And I really push on these, just because I don't really trust the stamps to get all the way done. That looks a lot better. And then this one is like a little ceramic pot. Right there. Looks good. Do another little pot. Put it up here. Really push on it. Those look really cool. I think I'm gonna put another boy and girl down here. Okay, so now this is Asian themed. And all I have to do is just cut it up, and that's it. Perfect fodder. Very unique looking. Okay, so on this one I don't want to use these stamps because we just used them. So I'm going to pick out some different ones here. What we could do is we could use some of, I have Yolan's, I think they're called pots. To me, they look like, they look kind of like, well, they look like cells to me, like plant cells. And then I also have these really pretty cats, and I can't think of who did the cats, but they're on PM Artist Studio. So if you're interested in these kind, they're PM Artist Studio. You do want to wash them immediately afterwards, or it could ruin them. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that down. Wow, I love that. That's a cool stamp. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna make a pattern, I think. That's beautiful. This is the first time I've used this stamp. Very cool. Wow. Yeah, those are excellent. I'm gonna do this one next. These are beautiful. And then we've got this one. hoping that's gonna look really good on something. So yeah, just kind of gives a little bit of character. I feel like I have another PM Artist Studio one around here somewhere. Like, trying to think of where I put it. Aha. I do have more. These are more of Yolands or Devin Rexburg. So I have these old-fashioned telephones, and I have this lady too. And then, like I said, I have these cats. These cats are just on PM Artist Studio. I'm not sure who the artist was for the cats. But I think I'm definitely going to use these. Okay, so let's do these old-fashioned phones and the super lady on this paper and see what happens. I'm going to save the cats for another page. Or actually, I could do the cats on here too. Could just be interesting ephemera. So I'm gonna rub this on my stamp pad. And I don't think I quite got all of it. My stamp pad is starting to dry up a little bit, so I kind of have to really push it in there. Okay. Wow. That's so cool. I'm gonna do it again. I've been waiting for a chance to use these. I just didn't know what I wanted to use them on. And this just seemed so perfect today. Okay. Yes, it's so pretty. Let's do this phone next. That's cool. I believe in this one there was also like an old-fashioned chair. I didn't get the chair, but I got the phone. Oh no, it was a dial phone. That's what it was. I thought maybe it was a chair, but it was a phone. And I didn't get the dial phone because I grew up with phones like that and didn't like them. So I ended up getting these other phones because I liked how old-fashioned they looked. There we go. And then I want to do this cool girl. She looks kind of like a superhero. Ooh, that's cool. Do another one here. Very fun. And then I'm gonna go ahead and see if these cats will fit. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think we can get it to work. It's pretty. This kitty too. Yes, that's really pretty. Okay, so this is how this page has turned out. Let me put away my PM Artist Studio stamps. They need to be cleaned, so I will be cleaning them a bit. Especially if you use paint on them, you want to clean them immediately because it'll go right into those sponges. And then the next one we have here is this kind of like love paper. So this is not the one where the love turned out really, really well on it, but it's still pretty cute. So let's see if I can find Valentine's yet, but some of these I feel like would look really good on there for a ephemera. Here's some hearts. Just kind of have like a giant basket full of stuff. This says something on it, but I don't know what it says. May your birthday be special. I don't know about that. Let's do a different one. Mother's Day. Congratulations. No, I'm not really looking for those. Ooh, this could be pretty. So let's try some of these and see what happens here. I'm gonna do this dress first. Ooh, that's pretty. And these are just all stamps that were either given to me or I found at garage sales or sometimes at Goodwill. You can get them at Goodwill for pretty cheap. And then we've got some hearts. That's pretty. We're out of season, but that's okay for the Be My Valentine's. But I just think when I look at this page, I think love. So I'm gonna do it because you never know what you're gonna be in the mood to collage, or you know, maybe later down the line I'll want to use these in cards. You just don't know what you're gonna use it for. Oh, I smudged that a little bit. It's okay. Not all of them are gonna be perfect. So I'll try that again over here. Go. And then this thank you bear, you know, you could use thank yous for anything. Oops. That's cute. There we go. So we've got those, so that's done now. And then we've got this kind of spider web stuff. That looks interesting. I have a ton of Halloween stamps, so that's not going to be a problem. Let me grab some of those. Let's see here. Some like really small pumpkins that might look cool. Got a big skull. So like just because it's out of season doesn't mean you know, you have to put them away or anything like that. Just use what you have and have fun with it. There we go, we've got a ton of cute ones. I like these because they're colors that you wouldn't expect necessarily. So this one says Happy Hauntings on it. Didn't quite show up as well as I'd like it to. I'm gonna try again. It might be because it's more of a detailed stamp. That's a little bit better. This one I'm excited to see, because I've never used this one before. Some of this is because my stamp pad sucks. Okay, let's try this one. Well, that's cute. I think for these big ones, I'm going to use ones like this. Because I think that'll be cool in the middle of a web. Like that. And when you go to cut it out, I can cut out the whole spider web. I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. And put him directly in the middle. Didn't quite work, but that's okay. So I think I'm actually going to leave this one alone, but we've got a couple stamps on there, and if not, might even be able to rub some of that off. But either way, I think it's cute. So we've got those, and then let's do some flowers on this one because this is green. So I'm thinking some flowers are gonna look nice on this. Ooh, and we can also do maybe a thanks on it. Be fun. Here's some flowers. Some more flowers. So let's try some of these. Just some floral ones. Friend could be a good one. It's kind of a crazy looking heart. So a couple different options to kind of see what exactly looks cool on here. So let's do this one first. It says plant kindness, sow love, and reap joy on it. I just realized I have a random stamp on my desk. Put that back in the stamp box. Okay, so you can kind of see it. It's not the best stamp I've ever seen, but it's there. Let's try another one. Let's try this guy and see what happens. That's cute. It's a little heart. Let's do these little sunflowers. Yeah, that's cute. Not bad, not bad. We've got these flowers, which I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be. They're just random flowers. There we go. And what I'll probably do is I'll do a second video using these actually as ephemera. So that'll be fun. And we'll use them in our, like I said, our magazine journal. Because I haven't played with mine in a long time. It's just been kind of sitting in a box, not being loved like it should. So I want to definitely get that out and play with it. Ooh, that's cool, the friend. That's gonna look nice on a page, I can already tell. How about thanks? Let's see what thanks looks like. Yeah, that's cute. And then I like these. These are cute too. So let me just get these out. Pop them right there. show up the way I wanted it to. I see the stems and no flowers. Try it again. Make sure I get those flowers nice and dark. There we go. That's better. So that's that page. Now on this page, instead of using my wooden stamps on these next two pages, I'm going to use some of my intricate stamps. So give me 1 second and I'll get some of those out. So I found these. I definitely want to use these. I think I'm going to use them on this paper, so we'll save this guy for last. And let me get these out. I just think that the vintage look with this color is going to look cool. So I'm just going to get my stamp all gooey. And plop her down. Push real hard. Yes. So that's a little camera. This looks like a passport of some sort. A lot of these were my mother-in-law's stamps that she gave me. So she every now and then gives me a whole bunch of stamps whenever she destashes, and I restash them. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp that on there. Go. That one could have used a little bit more ink, but that's okay. This briefcase, I want to do it in one of these red sections. I think this one will look really cool in red. So let me get all nice and gushy. Okay, I'm gonna plop it right in the middle there. I think that'll look cool. Little briefcase. This one is a globe. So this one I might put upside down, that way the earth can have that blue on it. Be cool. This is really starting to get hard to dry out here. All right. So let's go ahead and put it upside down like this. And then I'm going to pull it up. So that's cool. This one kind of looks like the Titanic. Squeeze and abuse my stamp thing here. There we go. And then we've got a train. There we go. Kind of gives a little something something. So that's our train, or our traveling stamps. They're not super noticeable, but I feel like if you're looking, whenever we're going to be using these as ephemera, I feel like it'll be okay. And then let's do maybe these. If I use these, yeah, I've used them once or twice. Do I want to do that? No, let's not do that one. I don't know about that. Let's see here. This has got a lot of green do some cottage treescapes, whatever that is. That could be fun. So I'm gonna pull these out. And this is what they look like. So let's try this big tree first. I will say these would probably be a lot easier if I had that little glass thing that you're supposed to put on the back of them and then push them down with. But I don't know where mine are, so I'm just doing it the hard way, you know. Sometimes you gotta be bullheaded about it. Make sure it's all sticking down here. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Let's do a couple of trees. So I think another tree would look cool here because these kind of look like trees too. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay. And then we've got some flowers. So that looks pretty good. Rusticy. I think I'm gonna do 2 of each of these. So we'll do this one right here. There we go. Some, just looks like maybe some tree leaves. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's cute. Do another one right here. Yeah. And we've got some more little viney things. Do that right there. Get us some nature in here. And lastly, we've got these little vines. That showed up pretty good. There we go. And that takes care of that one. So we've got a pretty good unique load of stamps there that we used today, and I think they all turned out pretty good. So let's just have one last look at everything that we made today. So we've still got this guy who's still drying a little bit, but it looks really cool. So I'll definitely be cutting that up just for random fodder because I like it. And then we've got this one that we just made. We've got these guys that just have like a ghost of stamps on them. These guys, these, not gonna lie, that one turned out really good. Love how these turned out. Love, love, love how these turned out too. Beautiful. Yes. We're gonna take these edges and cut out the edges. Got these. We've got our love. And we've got that. So yeah, all of that with just, you know, playing around. So I think we had a really good time today. And if you watched this video, thank you so much. If you're new here, hey, nice to meet you. Glad you're here and hope to see you again. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. If you could please share, like, or subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow my channel currently. So any help I can get would be strongly appreciated. And I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.